My name is Howard Berry. I'm the father of the late Staff Sergeant Joshua Berry. My son died of wounds that were sustained during the first Fort Hood shooting. For those of you that don't remember, that shooting took place on November the 5th of 2009. Nidal Hassan murdered 13 and he wounded 32. We're going to elect a new president next year. 2016 is right around the corner. There's an awful lot of people that feel that they have what it takes to be our next commander-in-chief. I've got some questions. I'm reaching out to every single candidate, and I'm asking some pretty simple questions. These are from Mr. Bush. Mr. Bush, do you think that the first Fort Hood shooting was treated correctly? There was the classification of a random act of violence in the workplace. Do you think that did justice to the men and women that were involved in that shooting? Do you think that later amending that to a case of violent homegrown extremism was the right thing to do? I don't. I don't think it gave any of us closure. Do you think that our veterans are being treated fairly today? My son, I like to I like to know where your position is on veteran suicide, because Jeb, it's my son became one of the 23 a day on February the 13th of 2013. My son died waiting for help that never came. Are you okay with 23 a day? Does that keep you up at night? I know it does me. Sir, I believe one is too many. And I don't understand these men and women that deployed multiple times and volunteered to protect our freedoms. They aren't getting what they need. I'd like to know what you think about the VA. Do you think the VA is a totally broken agency that needs to be scrapped? Or do you think that they're going to turn the corner? And I also would like to ask you, sir, how many veterans do you think are dying waiting for help from the VA? Appointments that they can't get, and treatment that they're turned down for, and paperwork that gets lost. I buried another soldier last Friday. I'd like to know what you think about that. Our military is in a shambles. We're not taking care of these folks. Where do you think that these men and women should be in the pecking order, standing in line? Those that need help in this country. Do you think that they ought to be right up front? I surely do. I'd like to see this brought up in a debate. I really would, because I do believe that the veterans in this country are not getting what they need. They aren't. And I, as the father of a dead soldier that's simply been asking questions, I've been fairly active over the past couple years since my son died. I've gone to D.C. twice. I've gone door to door. I've written all members of Congress. The responses, sir, the responses are atrocious. 8 responses out of 550 letters. That's less than 2%. I go door to door, especially the Senate. I'm treated with indifference, some offices even with discourtesy. I thought we were better people than this. I'd like to know what you think about that. Do you think that the families of the fallen deserve any any type of a consideration when you're trying to figure out how to lead? You think you have what it takes to be the next commander-in-chief? I believe that these issues are very debatable, and I think this should be brought up. I've reached out to your campaign on more than one occasion. I'd like to know what you think, Mr. Bush. I really would. Your family has a history of strong support for vets and strong support for our military. I want to know where you're at on this, and I'm sure that a lot of other people do too. There's a lot of empty chairs in this country, a lot of empty chairs since 9/11. I'm not the only father that is scratching his head wanting to know what are we going to do. Uh, I just need to put it out there. I would love to hear you publicly respond, and I'm looking forward to it. God bless. I miss my son.